right? Is it really necessary to say no to setting more appointments and getting future business and stop whatever you're doing? I don't know. I just don't love being reactive.
And there she is.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, your volume is perfect. You are just camera ready. Thank you for joining us. Excuse my quarantine hair.
You know, I'm texting my gal literally right now. I'm like, what can we do? Seriously, what can we do?
This is the real mastermind. Oh, by the way. It's my favorite hashtag is hashtag send help.
Right?
Specifically.
Yes. Yes.
It's all
Hashtag
good.
help me. You know, like,
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Phyllis. Hey, Phyllis.
Oh my goodness. There's several people already joining us. We just struck 12:30, so here's what I'll do. Let's open it up and go right ahead and welcome you. Welcome to Overachiever Central. Iron sharpens.
That's an amazing name, by the way.
Thank you. I designed it myself, and really the outpouring of love and support and guidance, MichaelAnn, specifically that you've poured into us. I want to say it was a Tuesday in the month of February 2009 that you specifically showed up in our world. So let's back it up just a little bit, because I really want to set the stage. And it's just nothing short of stellar, your run in this here professional landscape called real estate. So you literally grew your business in the real estate equivalent of about 5 minutes, from 87 sold homes to 200 sold homes. And that felt really fast, at least to me, being a fan watching you from a telescope. You were in PA at the time. And then when you and your business partner and husband, Michael, right, hit 960 sold homes in just a quick 5-year span, you were able to then trigger your next big venture, was to move from PA to Florida. Yes?
That's true. All true so far. Yes.
All true so far? Okay, perfect. And then you jumped into a team leader role and were recognized as one of the top team leader business coaches, consultants, company-wide in the continental US. I remember you shared with me you would just go ahead and close on 9 top producers in any given month. And after passing out and standing back up, because look, a lot of companies don't do that inside of 2 years, and you do it in a month for fun. So when we look at overachieving and we look at someone who is kind and someone who has care and candor, and you have this masterful way of being so firm and so fair and demanding in a way, MichaelAnn, that's never rude, and yet requires people to show up as their very best. So I just want to welcome you to the Overachiever Central platform, just to continue to share and pour into us. I am so grateful.
Well, you are very welcome. Thank you for inviting me, number one. And you know I love to have fun with you. So this is going to be fun, I'm sure.
Listen, I feel like I follow your puppies on Instagram, okay? This is life. And I remember when you walked in those red bottoms, when the market was 16 months of inventory available. So that's like real estate challenge central. And you walked in and you're known for outskilling in a shifting market. Like you literally can stud it out no matter what the market brings. So what on earth even drives you, really, is just my first question.
Well, originally I would have said, right, that move, and I was just sharing this with my coaching clients this week, now that they're in bold pivot, making 40 contacts a day now, right? Yeah. And what I shared with them was originally it was that goal to move from, no offense, right, the gloomy Northeast to Florida. And right, you can relate, I know. So it really was the fact that we had a goal, and as long as I made the number of contacts that I had to make, I could hit that goal, right? We had that vision of, when you have a vision board and a goals board, right? I had great coaches, by the way, that allowed me to figure out this vision, which was amazing, right, in itself. So I knew exactly what I wanted it to look like, where I would be, right, what the, house, or it was a condo, right, what condo would look like overlooking the water. So at that point, that would have been what was driving me to make my 40 contacts a day, right? So 3 years of that, and you're good to go, right?
That was like the professional medicine. Like, do this way, take this here vitamin for 36 months and hit the goal.
And hit the goal, right? And of course, have a financial planner that says you can spend X number of dollars per month, right, in order to make this happen, and still buy the shoes, right? So
the shoes are very important. Let's just listen. I have friends who take their annual residual income and buy a boat or a Rolex or shoes, or
right.
I mean, it's totally fine. It's whatever you see fit that brings you light and love and joy, right?
There you go, right? Now obviously that's not the only thing.
Yes.
Yet, when you figure out what it is that you really desire, and that inspires you, like that you have so much passion around it. Like I would literally be up by 5:30. As you know, when you have a goal, you don't even have to have an alarm clock, right? So what was also funny, Dana, and you'll find that I do digress, I was at a company where I knew that, and you know how we say, tell your goals to the world, right?
Yes.
So the good news is I was at a company, not Keller Williams, a different company, and I knew if I said we're right moving to Florida, they would hold me to it, right? So every day it was like, so are you moving to Florida yet? It was the most motivating thing that could have ever happened, right?
Wow.
So that one day I could say, as a matter of fact, I am. Yes, right.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
awesome.
Now I would say what drives me or motivates me, definitely some other things, right? Making sure, as an example, my mother can be living in an amazing spot, right? And I can pay for that, right? So as you move on, right, in life, your goals typically change, right? The
Yeah.
shoes have not, okay, that's never going to change, right? We get that.
Yeah.
Yet now of course, this is what and I don't want this to be filled with bold laws, yet I can really relate, as you can, right? The purpose of business truly is to fund your perfect life, right?
Yes.
And to truly live before you die. I embraced that, right? So I think when you couple that with your vision and you truly understand that it's not just about doing the deals, right, and doing the business, what are you doing with the money? Are you funding your perfect life? Like, do you even know what your perfect life looks like? And luckily I had some great coaches that allowed me to figure that out.
And
Right.
it sounds like they encouraged you to document it. Like, it sounds like it was probably written somewhere.
Do you know this story? So I'm with a coach, right? And it was probably, I want to say, let's say 2003, 2004, doesn't matter, early 2000s. And you know how you do your 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year goals, right? And you're writing everything out. Well, at that point, I had written coaching on the road. Like, this would be fun if I could coach on the road. And I'm like, I don't really know what that looks like. I don't know what that's going to be like yet to me, because I love to travel and I love to hang with great people like you. So I'm like, that would be fun. And then I talk to Diana, right? And she says, well, MichaelAnn, you should totally do this. We're going to do coaching on the road. And I was like, this is crazy,
Wow.
right?
Put it
Yeah.
in the atmosphere, and like a
Yeah.
boomerang, it can
Yeah.
come back, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I did not know that story.
Yeah. I mean, it was just crazy.
So
That was
here,
probably, I want to say it was like 2003. And then 2009, we're coaching on the road. So it's fun how that works, right?
that's amazing. So on the heels of being a top team leader, crushing that role, and just really helping people at a very high level, right? You're running the company, you're growing the company, you're pouring in. Diana Kokoska, the author of Bold, right, hand selected you to be one of the OGs, like one of the
Right. Yeah.
original Bold coaches, right? Of
Exactly.
classic Bold. So I
Yeah.
that's I mean that's awesome and fun and incredible.
And let's go back. That would, none of those things that are on that bio would have ever happened if I didn't make my 40 a day. And I know that sounds crazy, yet when I look back, I mean, it really is as simple as that. If I didn't decide to do my job, by the way, for only 160 work days a year, because it is not about those hours you put in, right? It's about what you put into those hours. So as long as you actually do what you're supposed to do, what I did then, right?
Mhm.
Now I can do whatever I want to do now. And I think most people are only looking at, being present based. They're not really looking at future, right?
So true, so true, because we all have the same number of hours in a day, right? So it's not just the time, it's how effective you are in that time. So it sounds like, and just for the room, we have a lot of isms and acronyms for things. So bold stands for business objectives, life by design, right? Not by default. And it's essentially typically the classic version is a 7 or 8 week kind of lead gen mindset awesome sauce boot camp, kind of, right? I mean,
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with
go with
that.
that.
Yes.
So uh and now the entire program has been recomposed and just revamped and literally is pivoted into Bold Pivot, which is embracing the market of the moment and really bringing the heat. I just attended the first, look, am I the only nerd that wears
Yep.
the
There you
Bold?
go. Right.
Oh, okay, good. No, I'm not the only nerd. Okay, good. So essentially, what's typically an $800 course is now 99 bucks, right? And it's
Yeah.
virtual. And
It's amazing. And what a gift from Gary Keller and Keller Williams, right? Realty International, MAPS coaching, of course, being part of that. And truly is a gift because, as you know, not every company is giving that gift to their agents, let's say. And it's just amazing as long as you implement, right, what we're coaching to in Bold 2.0 or now Bold Pivot. I love what somebody put on Facebook the other day. What they said was, it is impossible to fail in real estate. Would you agree with that, Dana?
it's impossible
To
to fail in
fail.
real estate. I agree, because we're learning, I would hope.
Well, it's impossible to fail. You might decide to quit, yet. And this is what I would say to everybody right in that bold room and the work that we're doing. As long as you do the work, it literally is impossible to fail. Right?
I understand that. I'm literally processing it. I feel like it's you quit or you learn, because in the failing is usually a lot of fantastic lessons.
There is, yes. What I'm saying is some people, however, decide to quit, right? In that moment that you just described.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So true. So true. So it reminds me, just random, Will Smith says that he would die on the treadmill. He said, I'm not the smartest. This is Will Smith, you gotta love it. I'm not the smartest, I'm not the most handsome, I got these big ears. He says, however, no one is outworking me so that I legit would die on the treadmill. And I probably heard him say that maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just
Wow.
sticky, it kind of just sticks to you,
Sure.
you
Oh
know?
yeah.
And I think
Absolutely.
it's grit, right? It's hard, it's smart, and I feel like I have a lot of gratitude for Bold Classic and of course Bold Pivot, and I just think to take salespeople, right, who really are striving to make it happen in a challenging worldwide pandemic. Oh, by the way, and have that as I call it, professional medicine. It really is, though, right? And I think if you quit to
Sure.
take it, those results show up. And if you just do the work, like, what are you
Right.
going to do? Find a job? Good luck
Well,
with that.
exactly. And I mean, could it be any simpler? Right? You just have to talk to people and you become a millionaire. I mean, to me, that was like, oh, that's all I have to do. I'm in. Right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
We have a comment here from top agent, capping agent in the West Monmouth office, which is where I thrive and hang my hat. And she said sometimes she starts her day with a full intention of making 40 unique contacts, and then just issue and challenge after challenge and grappling with pending transactions tends to just make it tough. What are your
Does it?
thoughts?
Is
What are
that
your
true?
what are your thoughts on that, MichaelAnn? Because I
Does
know what
it?
I'm stepping into. It's like hat in hand.
Well, I mean, I first of all, and wow, I just had this same conversation with my coaching schedule. We Zoom every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we just had this same conversation about dealing with business, right? And making that more important than finding business. And I just took them right back to shift pages 71, 72, 73, 74, where Gary does talk about until your number one thing is done, right? And I don't like to even call it time management, right? Because that's a choice
Yes.
that you're making
Preach.
when, right?
Tell
When
it.
you decide that something else is more important than finding new business, that's a choice, right? And I will say that if you are sticking to your schedule, I'm going to assume that you have one. Maybe I shouldn't. Yet, if you are sticking to your schedule and it says, this is the time that I am going to find new business, I really truly believe there's no reason why you couldn't work on the business after that, right? Like, is it real? That's what I would always question, right? Is it really necessary to say no to setting more appointments and getting future business and stop whatever you're doing? I don't know. I just don't love being reactive, right? I prefer behaviorally, I prefer to control my day and not have my day control me. That makes me crazy, to be honest, which is why when we do say discipline equals freedom, it really does, right? When you have the discipline to stick to your schedule, you do have the freedom then to not feel guilty in the afternoon, right? And you can then do whatever you're supposed to do relating to those pending transactions, right? That you feel that you've got to take care of. And of course, the discipline to stick to that. Is it 20 a day, 40 a day, whatever that looks like for you, right? We're talking 40 a day because of Bold Pivot. And it really does mean freedom, simply because if you did that for 3 years, 5 years, even a year, I think you would have the freedom to do some things that maybe you can't really do right now, right?
Right. Right. And I think the schedule, it's funny, just like a financial budget is budgeting your money, your schedule is budgeting your minutes, right?
Sure.
And
Yes.
so I feel like that grapple of, hey, I'm going to generate unique new business from 9 to 12 every god-given workday, like I'm just going to do it, and then squirrel distraction happens, that's transaction management issue, and then we make the decision to jump into that distraction. Maybe it's creative avoidance. Maybe it's really someone's hair, real estate hair is legitimately on fire. How do you feel about the erase and replace? For example, you're 2 hours in, 9 to 11, and you have been generating your new business, and literally at 11:01, someone's real estate hair is legitimately on fire and it needs your attention. Do you then say, hey, I'm going to put this fire out for an hour and I'm going to make certain that I catch up? I know there's no catch up. Lord help us. Let's just say erase and replace. We've heard that. Does that still apply, or are we just setting the hammer down and saying, look, it just has to wait?
Okay, so my first question in this example is, how did I know about the fire?
Mm. Well, your bunker probably wasn't that protected because you probably saw a text message from your pregnant pending buyer whose stuff is on the moving truck and she's like really bent.
Okay. So if it really is, I mean, clearly we're in a people business
Yeah.
relation business, right? So if it truly is a fire, then of course you're going to take care of it. I think you're a little delusional if you think that you're going to come back later and finish your lead gen, because that typically doesn't happen, right?
Yep.
So are you going to move it? That's the decision you've got to make, right? Are you going to move it to a Wednesday afternoon, a Saturday morning? I have coaching clients. We're all on a group text right now, right? And this morning they literally said, hey, we got to catch up. Let's do a Saturday morning Zoomathon, right? We're Zooming, right? A Saturday morning Zoomathon, which is really a call-a-thon, where we're all going to call together, obviously not having the audio on, right? We'll be on mute. And then in the chat box, we can say, set an appointment, right? Got a referral. Because at some point, we do have to have in that schedule the catch-up time, right?
Yep.
To catch up on those contacts maybe you didn't make. Now, I will say this. If you've honed those sales skills and you can hit your appointment goals per day that are required, I say, you're good, right? If you hit your appointment goal by 11, I don't think you have to catch up.
Fair.
The issue, I think, is this, that most of us are concerned. Let me say it this way. I'll say the nice version, right? Most of us are concerned about that fire, and we are freaking out that it's going to fall apart because we skipped our lead gen the day before, the week before, the month before, the quarter before, right?
Yeah. Coming from scarcity versus
Exactly.
abundance. Got it.
Exactly. If you're making your contacts every day, you're not so worried about that deal falling apart. Let's be honest.
True. Preach. And, I have to thank Sean Rawls for a great nugget he shared with us last December. He said, he never really had the word discipline or the term discipline speak to him. However, he does connect with devotion and being devoted to what he really wants to manifest and see happen. And that gave me such a great mind shift, right?
Sure.
So we can have discipline, great. That speaks to you. We can have devotion, awesome, do it, right? Like Joe Williams, just do it. And I just love that because, I mean, look, we have a devotion to our families, to our health. Our health has never been more relevant during this time.
Yes.
So I just feel like when you bring an energy of devotion, it can just totally change. And I love hanging out with you. We could just riff. Like, I don't even know.
We could, right? We could totally do that. And, I love that poster, right? That was in my spin class, gym, whatever we want to call it, where it said, you know what? Motivation's great, right? Yet motivation will die, right? It's discipline or that devotion that keeps you going.
It's so true. It's so true. Mm-hmm. I always say I can't motivate anybody.
Never.
I'll pour into, right? I mean, like,
no.
I don't have that magic sauce.
No.
I don't know if anyone honestly does for the long.
That's definitely got to come from within, right? For sure.
It's that fire in the belly. So tell us what else has coaching done for you? Talk, you've been sharing with us how you're guiding your coaching clients. What do you feel is probably the best top couple of things that you've really enjoyed in terms of being held accountable or being coached by someone?
Wow. Okay. So that was a long question that I'll attempt to chunk that down. So let's see. Let me just first say that I am quite clear on this, positive, that I could not have done what I did in my real estate business, my real estate career, without a coach and without my affirmations, by the way, right?
Okay.
So those daily affirmations coupled with a great coach did allow me to do what I intended to do in my real estate business and career. So I'll start with that, right? I'm quite clear that I could not have done it without a coach. And I would say the question was relating to what else about coaching?
I mean, it's obviously impacted you greatly, right?
Mhm.
And you have a stellar career ongoing. I guess, what I've heard is, well, at some point, don't you kind of know it all? Like, at some point, can't you just calm down to a normal panic? This is what I hear. And so, you still are coached,
Yes,
is my
yes. I
best
have two
guess.
coaches now.
You have two coaches now. So, why two coaches, and to what areas do they lift you up?
Well, as amazing as I am, I don't always see those blind spots, right? That I have,
Blind spots. Yeah.
right? So I think it's important that, and again, if you talk to my coaches, I am pretty coachable, right? So that helps. I'm really coachable. If you say, hey, this works, this is what you should do, I'm going to do it, right? So that certainly helps. And I would say the best part about it is you do find that you can't see everything that's going on in your business, right? So if you're focused on that one thing and not seeing either opportunity or not seeing something, I'll give you an example in a minute, not seeing something that might be hindering you, then that's why I love those outside forces, right? To come into my life and say, as an example, so I went back on the bold road a year ago. And MichaelAnn, like some of us, can coast at a pretty high level. Kiss of death, right?
What is coasting at a high level?
Well, I naturally can do some things, right? You have natural talent, kind of like E to P, if you want to liken it to that, right?
Mhm.
Some of us can get so far on our energy and enthusiasm, and we're like, yeah, we're good, right? We're good here. Yet we're not, maybe, coach pointed out, right? Maybe not living up to our true potential. Maybe we're, depriving some people of our,
Yeah.
ability to help them. So I had a conversation with my coach. Wow, that probably would have been over a year ago now, because I went back on the bold road last June. And I said, I really thought that I wanted to float around in my pool all afternoon. And yet it's not really doing anything for me, right? Yet it sounds cool, right? Oh, I get to float around in my pool all afternoon. Yet there was just something that was like, I don't know, this just doesn't feel right.
It
So my,
wasn't fulfilling to float around in the pool, is my best guess.
as I thought it would be.
Mm. Okay.
So my coach said, so MichaelAnn, when's the last time you did something for the first time? And I went, yeah, right. So going back on the bold road certainly got me uncomfortable again, right? Got me to look at some things differently, because all new material, right? I was on the East Coast, really comfortable with the East Coast peeps. Now I'm on the West Coast, all new people. So and I share this in the bold room, right? Talk about getting outside of your comfort zone and embracing that at the same time, right? Because I could have said, yeah, I'm just going to float around in my pool all afternoon. Yet I knew that I still had absolutely more to share, more to give as it related to coaching, right? And it was just the perfect timing. So that really was a good conversation for me to have, right? When was the last time I did something for the first time? And then when I actually did decide to make that leap and go back on the bold road, I mean, I just can't tell you again how fulfilling that is. And I often say to people, and you'll know what I mean when I say this, I was an amazing realtor, great team leader. Nothing has ever been as rewarding as being in that bold room and doing the work that we do in
Wow.
that bold room, for sure.
Wow. That's awesome. So when was the last time you did something for the first time?
So yeah, Dana, when's the last time you did something for the first time?
Oh, I want to get you home in time for dinner, MichaelAnn. It's a great question. It's a great question. I think, especially during these times, right? So this pandemic season, when it's over, what could it be the start of in terms of something new, right?
Of course.
Hopefully, maybe a new habit, better habit, maybe a different role, right? I had some
Yes.
great exchanges with KWRI department head yesterday that was very eye-opening. And I think that there's such a great opportunity now to show
Mhm.
up, suit
Of
up, and
course.
play full on, whether you're a sales agent,
Sure.
in leadership, OP, whatever, coach, top bold coach. There's now, I think this here Zoom thing has just opened up every zip code, the entire
Yes.
continental US, every country. We took from
Country.
Portugal on yesterday. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's like what
Mhm.
it's limitless now.
It
It's
is
limitless.
really, really amazing. And if you heard me say this before, the last shift, right? I know this is not the same, yet it's a shift, right?
Sure.
The last shift, I did jump back into selling because I saw the opportunity, right? Because all of these agents were leaving business. And I was like, wait a minute, wow, right? This is an incredible